Photo by Jamie Sabau, Getty Images. The 2019 NFL Draft is less than 2 months away, and with free agency kicking off this week, team needs will shift and the makeup of the first round will undoubtedly be altered. This year's top prospects have separated themselves from the pack in the top 50, and while there will certainly be some surprise first-round picks, a great majority of the first 32 selections is pretty safe to predict at this point. So, speaking of predictions, here's with the first picks mock draft 1.0. We'll have several more before the 2019 NFL Draft gets underway. Enjoy. The best thing to happen to the 49ers this draft season is the ascent of Kyler Murray. As a result, they'll have the best player in the class, Nick Bosa, slip to their pick at number 2 overall. The 49ers need an edge rusher like Bosa to complement the talented big bodies already assembled along the defensive line. Bosa may not be the 12 to 15 sack prospect, but he'll be a steady and reliable pass rusher for the next decade. DK Metcalf dominated the 2019 NFL Combine and proved he's an elite physical talent at 6'3" and 228 pounds. His 4.33 40-yard dash was simply astonishing, and despite not having the kind of production at Ole Miss to match those numbers, there's no doubt Metcalf's best years are ahead of him. With this pick, the Jets give QB Sam Darnold the kind of bailout option every young passer longs for. Metcalf and Darnold will make quite the duo in the Big Apple. The Raiders' pass rush was non-existent last season, an obvious side effect of trading arguably the NFL's most dominant sack artist in Khalil Mack. That horrific decision by coach Jon Gruden is even worse now that Oakland has to invest a top 5 pick on a player who won't come anywhere near Mack's floor, let alone his ceiling. Still, Allen is a promising pass rush prospect who's a high-end athlete who can be effective as a rush specialist and in coverage. He has to get stronger at the point of attack, but his pass rushing upside will push him into the first few picks in the draft. All signs point toward a perfect marriage between White and the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay could go in a bunch of directions here, including Alabama's Quinnen Williams. They opt instead to draft White, whose exceptional sideline-to-sideline ability and thumping style of play will instantly make him one of the locker room's leaders. Page 2. Use your arrows to browse Indianapolis. In March 1st, offensive lineman Jawan Taylor of Florida works out during Day 2 of the NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium on March 1, 2019 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Photo by Joe Robbins, Getty Images. The Giants remain committed to Eli Manning, at least in the short term, and will bypass the chance to add Dwayne Haskins to grab Taylor, who projects as the best offensive tackle prospect in this year's class. Taylor played right tackle at Florida, but there's no reason to suggest he can't excel at left tackle in the NFL. Regardless, New York needs to just keep adding talent to the offensive line. This pick is a huge step in that direction. Talk about an absolute steal for the Jaguars. Williams might be one of the 2 or 3 most talented players in this year's draft, but as we see every single year, one of those guys always ends up lasting a little longer than they should. In this mock draft, it's Williams, who joined the Jaguars' defense that continues to stockpile talent year after year. After a dominant NFL Combine performance, Sweat moved himself firmly into the top 10, and within striking distance of Josh Allen and Nick Bosa as the most coveted edge defender in the class. His combination of size, length and athleticism is rare, and while he had some disappearing acts last season, he projects as a potentially dominant force in the NFL. Need, meet value. Value, meet need. This is exactly how Bills fans should hope the first round unfolds in April. Buffalo has a high-end playmaker at quarterback in Josh Allen, but the Bills have to bolster the offensive line to maximize Allen's natural arm talent. Williams is a very, very safe pick and will be a plug-and-play starter at either tackle or guard. He silenced some concerns about his arm length at the NFL Combine, and it appears like teams are starting to finally view him as a legitimate tackle prospect. The Broncos' recent trade that sent Case Keenum to the Redskins resurrected Locke as a potential target with the No. 10 pick. Veteran Joe Flacco will be the short-term answer for the Broncos under center, but they'd be smart to add another young prospect to the mix. Locke leapfrogging Haskins will come as a surprise on draft day, but he's the apple of John Elway's eye. Use your arrows to browse.